Hi everybody, this is Rob and Kurt with Two Brothers Hobby. Today we're taking a look at the ICARE Magellan-E 2-meter electric sailplane kit. Now Kurt, we've flown a lot of foam sailplanes, reviewed a couple of them. This is really the first one on film that would be more of like you would call a professional grade.
Yeah, get into that serious,
into the true sailplane.
Get into a serious sailplane flyer class aircraft. Yeah, the Magellan-E is it's heavily uses fiberglass throughout, fiberglass fuse, fiberglass covered wings. Now this is D-box construction on the wings, so what you have is a very short spar. The wing spar is a steel rod. It's only about that long. Because there's so much rigidity throughout the wings. And that's the big thing. When you move out of the foam class and you get into a fiberglass or a carbon fiber sailplane, you've got so much more accuracy. And you don't realize how much that plays into the handling and characteristics.
Oh, sure.
Just through conventional plane flight. You know, say plane flight, just flying it, in a pattern or in a circle and keeping your turns level and stuff.
Well, you're getting a lot more. I don't want to say warping, but I guess that's what it would be in a foam plane. I mean, even the control surfaces themselves, the actions of the servo, a lot of times you'll see the tail move.
Well, as your wings twist and warp, you're affecting that airfoil from root to tip. So it's going to change the characteristics of that wing's performance.
When you move up into these more rigid frames like this, I mean, you see guys on these large ones that are actually standing on the wing.
Oh yeah.
Just to prove the point of how strong they are.
Absolutely.
And that definitely plays into the handling of the
It sure does,
airframe.
And we experienced that directly.
Yes, we did.
Let's go ahead and cover some of the specs of the ICARE Magellan-E 2-meter electric sailplane. It has an overall wingspan of 79 inches. The wing area is 477 square inches. Wing loading comes out to about 7.5 ounces per square foot. Now, the wing airfoil that's used on the main wing is the S7037 airfoil. The all-up weight's 19 to 28 ounces based on specs. Now, as tested, we went ahead and deviated slightly with our battery, so we were up around 33.8 ounces. And at the price at the time of this review, the base kit you can get at $249. Right now, they actually had it on sale for $235 when I checked the stats right before it was filming. And you can also get a brushless combo version, which includes the motor, the ESC, the LiPo, and a prop. And that's $375 on sale right now for $355, so it saves you 20 bucks. The Two Brothers setup on the Magellan-E. Transmitter, we chose to use the high-tech Aurora 9. Receiver is a high-tech Optima 7. Servos were all high-tech HS5065MG. Those are high-torque metal gear digital servos. Our ESC is actually the new Castle Creations Talon. We chose a 35 amp, and then the neat thing about the Talon is it has a 7 amp BEC, so you get a little more oomph on your battery limiter circuit. The motor that we did choose to go with was the HCS Compact 700BL Outrunner, and that came with a Grosvenor 11x8 cam gear prop. And the flight battery that we chose was a Thunder Power 3S 2250 milliamp 45C LiPo. And the battery choice that we made was really based on weighing, getting CG on the nose without adding any dead weight. I think you and I are both adamantly opposed to adding dead weight if you don't have to.
Yeah, we don't like to. Sometimes you have no choice, but boy, you just hate to do it.
So I went up a little bit in our capacity on the battery, and that I was able to achieve balance.
See, I can a lot of times achieve my balance by putting a pilot in my planes.
Go ahead, put it in there.
They might have lead in their pockets.
The black canopy will hide it nicely. Yeah, you can put a clown pilot in there if you want to.
There may be one. Have you opened that label?
I haven't.
That's right.
So the way it goes together, the kit, and I'll say it's a kit. It's kind of like a kit ARF. The wings are already constructed for you. The V-tail.
You don't have to mold the fuselage.
You don't have to mold the fuselage. There's no blow molding involved. There's no laying down and shaping your fiberglass or anything. All your big pieces come. There's a lot of fabrication. There's a little tinkering around, more than you'd expect out of an ARF.
Yeah.
You got to have a little bit of modeling skill, but you don't have to be a master modeler to be able to put it together.
That's good.
What you'll spend the most time on is getting your tail linkage set up and the placement of your tray for your V-tail servos. And in fact, I chose to go aft because based on the instruction pictures we had, they kind of suggested you go as far aft as you possibly can and still have access to it.
Yeah.
So I put my tray back there. Turns out, with that much more aft weight, I would have been able to reduce some of my battery options, size, capacity-wise, if I would have went ahead and ran those all the way up.
Yeah.
And the tray is just it's a flat piece of balsa, and you need to shape it into the fuselage contour, and then you put it in place. So you can see from the pictures, it's pretty straightforward. But I would have chosen to go a little further forward than what the directions said. And then again, I'd have been able to go down to like an 1800 milliamp or 2100 without the 2250. But you're going to spend a few hours on it. It's going to take you a good 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours. One of the tips too on the assembly, which the instructions don't discuss, but if you look at the pockets inside the wing for the ailerons, and of course the pockets there for the flaps, you've got a tube, one single tube that joins inside of the servo pocket and runs out for both servos. So by the time you get down here at this root, this small section, you're cramming 2 servos wires into that tube. It's pretty small diameter. I had to go pick up, the ultra lightweight servo wire, because you're gonna put extensions on it anyway. Extensions you're gonna have to be soldering, and I recommend just cutting your tails short on both your servos and soldering on your leads and extending them out. I had to go with the ultra fine wire to be able to fit them both inside of that inner tube. So little steps like that, took some more time.
Sure.
And you want to do it right. Something like this, you have such a beautifully constructed wing, you don't want to scab everything together. And you also want that performance, that precision on your control surfaces. So you'll spend some time setting up the linkage as well. They give you the control horns, but you'll spend some time deciding what you want to do for the linkage itself, the push rods, and also the actual. I went with ball links on the V-tail, and to be able to give myself some nice solid connection and higher accuracy on my, instead of just Z-bending it and going back into the control horn. But it's probably about I probably have 6-7 hours to build, and really a lot of it's I have to admit, putting on the reading glasses and firing up the soldering station and soldering the little leads on the.
Second, what was that?
No, we'll just keep moving on.
I think less than a year ago you busted my chops about
yeah,
reading
well,
glasses.
that's what happens when you get older. Let's go ahead and move on to the fun part, the flight footage, and come back for part 2 for the review scoring. Feel.